Are you guys familiar with the Maginot Line? Yes? Kind of. If you aren't, research it. It's brilliant. An absolutely gorgeous and amazing piece of engineering that completely and absolutely failed to do what it was meant to do. Beautifully built, wonderfully engineered, absolutely bloody useless. For those of you that aren't familiar with it, it was like putting a static defense and going, aha, I can shoot something in that direction. And then the jolly Germans came around the side. You're not meant to do that, that's not fair. That's the bloody firewall. That's your antivirus. That's what we're trying to equate it to. What they should have done was gone, come to the front, we've got nasty guys behind us watching our backs. That's you getting proactive. That's you looking at the websites that you go to going, is this really PayPal I'm logging on to? Does the Nigerian government really want to give me $53 million? Every bloody day. Okay? For any of you guys that have or haven't researched, I did a series with McAfee a couple of years ago, and it was good, but it was also horribly depressing as well, because I got involved with a lady out in Oregon, and she lost about $400,000 of her money. This wasn't company money that could be written off. It wasn't corporate money. It was her money. She remortgaged a bloody house because the Nigerian guys and the Kenyan guys and the guys in Spain and a few other countries had managed to work her over so bloody well, and had managed to convince her for about 2.5 years that this whole thing was actually real. She was going to get her money there. She gave us some money back, like a couple of grand or something. But she lost a heck of a lot. Why? Because she didn't do her research. The director of the FBI is not going to call her up and go, hello, you must do this. It's the right thing to do. Click. It doesn't happen, guys. We talk about antivirus. I apologize if it's anything from semantic, but it's life. So everybody's like, aha, my antivirus is there. Well, that's great. Unfortunately, it's horribly, badly lit, unfortunately. But that's most of Symantec's internal code for their antivirus. We actually figured it out about a year ago. We tried telling them. We actually ended up telling one of the companies that subscribes to our service, and they're like, oh, that's Symantec, use that. Bad guys have got it? Yes, we pulled it off a bad guy website in Korea. They ditched Symantec like overnight. And hey presto, half of their bugs went away. So how do we do it? I mean, it's the fun thing about it is you guys can do a level of this yourselves. Go out and just Google yourself. It's kind of interesting what you find. As a company, go out and Google your own company. Open quotes at mycompany.com, close quotes. Find out who the heck is talking about you. Find out what they're saying. Find out if your internal IT guys posted the Cisco blasted config and has actually handed the keys to the kingdom over something they should have done. We do that. We have a nasty little engine that does it for us. It takes over bits of the internet and it crawls it and does all sorts of good things. It's also got spiders. I like that one. It's a friend of mine took a picture. We literally attempt to connect chunks of the internet. It's kind of an interesting little job. Part of the reason it's an interesting little job, I think it's split, but the hell did I put it? There we go. Aha. So, we'll go backwards and forwards to make me dizzy over this one. How am I doing for time? Am I good? Sweet. Alright, so, the internet that you guys see, the Yahoos, the CNNs, the wherever you might go, it's about 1 to 2 billion pages. People think a little bit. The internet that you don't see is about 500, 550, give or take a few billion pages in itself. It's called the dark web, the deep web. Those credit cards, where they get bought, sold, traded, a lot of that comes off the dark web. You hear about our friends in Lutz or Anon and various other places like that, guess where we play? The dark web. All of that is where that comes from. So that is the kind of stuff that we're trying to pull off of the net, to try and find out what's going on, to try and understand maybe why somebody is building a reactor where they shouldn't be, maybe why somebody's buying and selling cars where they shouldn't be. We index that data as well. We actually go through and we figure out what's being said on it. We also try to make sense of it. This is the hardest part. This is where it gets really interesting. For those of you that are involved in any kind of crypto analysis or anything fun like that, it's actually doing contextualizing. We try and figure out that I'm hacked off with IBM is very different from I'm hacked into IBM. Wrapping the head around the math, well, this is quite fun. And then we have to do it in other languages, which gets a bit of a challenge, is probably a nice way of putting it. I do wish all the bad guys would speak English. In fact, I'd like to insist it. Queen's English, if possible, please. So, just in case anybody thinks we haven't picked on a particular industry, we decided to pick on the telecoms industry as well. And this is all stuff we're pulling off of the engine. Now, you can't read here because the writing is absolutely bloody awful. How many of you guys are with AT&T? Oh, come on, there we go. Well, I know it, it's already got your telephones. There's the code to actually give yourself free long distance and free whatever. Put that in your telephone, upload the code, rewrite one of the kernel settings, you now have free international long distance. Have a nice day. See? To the meeting, get something free. I'm going to get a letter from the lawyer. Alright. So, how does this stuff get out there? Well, we put it out there. From an IT standpoint, we're terrible. We're absolutely blastingly awful. Why? Because we have a problem, we go out to the internet. If we can't find it on Wiki, it probably never existed in this planet. So what do? We ask a question. Well, how do I do this? And we post the question. Then we post some of our own company's information to help somebody understand that information. Or as people, as individuals, we post our own personal information, stuff that we wouldn't dream of giving to our friends. We put it on the internet. And then it's stuck there forever. Our business partners, for those that are with companies, our business partners are horrendous at this, as we will demonstrate in a minute. Vendors, another one. I'll sell you something, I'll give you a discount as long as I can promise to put you on our website. Great, now I know that you bought something. This is another one, this is fun. This was, it's a hosting company. They host rather a lot of data and rather a lot of information. Unfortunately, they're not very good at looking after their client's code either. This is their client's code. They had a problem with it. Not only did they post their own code on the internet, they posted half their client's code as well. Not the brightest ones. So, we're going to have a little bit of fun for a second. This is where it gets scary, and this is where Lisa starts to cringe, because I talk about missiles for fun. We're good for time? Yeah. Good. All right. So, if any of you don't recognize the guy on the top left-hand side, Dr. Strangelove, I gave an entire presentation in, where was I? Kentucky. They let me, I'm doing the same thing in Norway in a month's time, but I have a horrible feeling I'm going to get yelled at. But we decided to take the engine for walkies. Rather than just concentrating on financial data or human data or electronic or anything like that, we're like, okay, how deep does this rabbit hole go? So we're like, let's have a look at missiles. And for those of you that don't know, we already figured out how to take cars to pieces, we already figured out how to stop trains from running, and if you guys watch the internet, yes, it's all over the internet now about the bad guys taking out train systems. We did an entire presentation on airplanes as well, which we're having fun with. But we decided to do missiles. So the question is, you can't exactly walk up to, you know, the Air Force, the Army, the Navy, and go, hello, can I possibly have one of them? Can I just borrow? Thank you very much. Neither can you buy one of the damn things. They don't let me buy one. I'm part English, part Scottish. They won't let me have a missile. However, top right-hand side, I can actually get the shopping list for the components for a missile. Very useful. Top right-hand side on the next one down tells me the kind of missile I actually want. If we talk about vendors and we talk about our friends posting our information on the internet, this was a great one. This was the company that was developing the flight architecture and some of the simulation stuff for the missiles, actually posted their entire database online, including the IDs and passwords about how to get into it. Very useful. Now I actually understand the guidance control systems on missiles. So, now that I have that, I go out to the patent office. I like the patent office. It's like a kid in the candy store time. I don't know how missiles work, but the pattern copy